I have this next news story is mainly for Chris. They're making an Anthony Bourdain biopic, Chris. Have you heard
I
anything
know.
about this?
I have heard of it. Yeah, I've heard about it.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about people making especially with Anthony Bourdain, he was, aside from his TV shows and stuff, he seemed like he was a pretty private man. How do you feel about them doing a biopic? I don't really know if it's got the approval of Anthony Bourdain's family and his estate. I don't know if they signed off on it or if it's I don't remember what the word is, or if it's just like almost like a unauthorized biopic or not. But it's got a lot of backing. A24 is producing it. How do you feel about them doing it after his death?
I think the fact that A24 is doing it will give credence to it being something decent. But I do think that it's something that if you asked him, he probably would say hell no. But I think that if you do it in a tasteful manner, highlighting like the man he is and how he became to be who he is, I think that would make it a really interesting. If you haven't read Kitchen Confidential, it's amazing. It's a such a good
Did
insight
he
into
write
the
that
kitchen
book?
world. Uh-huh. That's his
Okay.
like kitchen book, yeah.
Okay.
Um yeah, he very interesting perspective on the service and industry world that I think is probably nastier than a lot of people give it insight to. I think The Bear is like the most washed down version of that like most everybody would be familiar with. And so I think that this is an opportunity to kind of like shine that light on that, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that grunginess. Because if they come out and it's like a real sweet, like soft story, like then this wouldn't work. Which I think that's why
He didn't have
A24
a
is
soft
being a part of
life,
it.
though.
No, God, no. That's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
A24 being attached to this will be sure to make sure that it's done correctly. So I'll be seeing it for sure. That's a
Nice.
must see
Did you
for
ever
me.
see have you seen his documentary yet? Roadrunner came out in 2021.
No, I've not watched it yet.
It came out in theaters. That was one I wanted to see with you. If you end up wanting to watch it sometime, I want to watch it too. The
Yeah, I'd be
Roadrunner
down.
is what it's called. But I know, Jake, you're familiar with this director, Matt Johnson, who's directing it. We've talked about Matt Johnson on the podcast before, but what do you know or what do you think about Matt Johnson?
Love Matt Johnson. I can't remember how I got introduced to him, but it was only maybe 3 years ago, and I found his show Nirvana the band, the show. Um, I remember watching it like the YouTube versions of it, and there was just I got it online somewhere. Someone had just uploaded like all of everything because it was on
Yeah.
Vice Canada, I think, and then because that show is such a nightmare to to release because every episode is based on a movie or a show, and all of the jokes are also based on references to shows or movies, including the music
Yeah.
bits from those movies or shows. So it's like impossible to fucking like release these episodes
Yeah,
anywhere.
it's like a
Because
copyright nightmare.
yeah, yeah. And then I got into his movies, and it was really funny because a friend of me and Chris's, Delon, yeah,
Hmm.
he always talked about this movie that he saw called The Dirties, and how he was like, man, it's this really cool, like grungy kind of like Cloverfield or that kind of like found
Yeah.
footage kind of style of movie. And then I started showing him Nirvana the band, the show, and I was like, this is the guy. He's like, no, this was directed by Matt Johnson. I was like, that's the guy. That's him right there
Yeah,
on the screen. He was
they're
like,
like two different spectrums of the personality.
right. It's insane that he was able to make such a serious movie. And then I saw Operation Avalanche. That was his second one.
Never saw
And then I
that one,
was
but I saw the
so
Dirties.
excited. Yeah, that one was very tight too. And like his whole guerrilla style of filming, like they filmed the car chase scene in that movie in their own car. They had no safety like precautions taken whatsoever, like bouncing over hills and stuff.
Mhm.
And then Blackberry was like a really great step into a more professional setting, I guess, where he had more high class actors and more money. I
Yeah,
bet.
got a lot of eyes on Blackberry. Blackberry was my introduction to Matt Johnson, but before that came out, or no, I saw Blackberry first, and then my original co-host, who's usually on this, Justin, he was like, "You have to see The Dirties," and that movie freaked me out and blew me away because of how convincing and real it feels. Chris, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if we can say this online, but it's about these people who want to like scare the school and like get like prep and plan a school. I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
A school explicitive.
Yeah, a school
And unaliving.
A school
yeah,
unaliving.
And then like the guy who's making, who's played by. It's all found footage. And it's this guy recording himself. And he's played by Matt Johnson. He starts to take it so seriously, and he just spirals out of control by the end of the movie. And the way it unfolds is incredibly well done.
Yeah, that sounds like a tough watch.
It is a tough watch, but if you've seen Matt Johnson stuff, you'd be like, this was his first movie. This is what he decided to do. But it's so well done. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That just his range is very promising, because he made a movie called Blackberry, which was about the creation of the BlackBerry. That had Glenn Howerton, who's Dennis in the Sunny movies, and I think he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that movie. But I think I trust Matt Johnson and his ideas, and I'm excited that he's attached to this movie. The writers are brand new, but they cast the guy who's going to play Anthony Bourdain. His name is Dominic Sessa, who he's only been in one movie that's been out, and he's been in a lot of like credit card commercials recently, but he's going to be, you're going to see his face a lot. He's also making an appearance. He's one of the main characters in the new Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Yep. That's what I was going to say.
His first movie was his first debut role was the Holdovers, I believe. He might have been nominated. He was nominated at some award shows. I don't know if it was
Holdovers
the Oscars.
Was great.
But The Holdovers is an incredible movie. Yeah, and so I think this movie is going to be really good. Right now it's titled Tony, and sources say that the film takes place during the summer of 1976, when young Anthony Bourdain has a life-changing summer in Provincetown, Massachusetts. They said that Bourdain started off washing dishes and worked his way up to a learn-on-the-job cooking position there at a restaurant called Ciro and Sal's, which still exists today. So I believe it's probably going to center around that era of him working his way up and falling in love with the kitchen. And they also have Antonio Banderas is the only person who's cast as well. He's probably going to be like the head chef of the restaurant, possibly. Yeah. No one really knows for sure. But I think this is going to be a really promising movie. I think it's going to get Matt Johnson an Oscar nomination. And I think because Matt Johnson's going to do some incredible things coming up in the future. He already made a Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and Neon picked it up. So it's going to be distributed soon. It's made, it debuted at the, what was it? There was one of the film festivals in the past couple months. And he was afraid because of copyright issues and all that stuff. He's like, I don't know if anyone's going to buy this movie or if it's possible to release. So everyone who saw it at the film festival, he was like, I hope you guys remember everything and talk about it and remember every detail. Because I don't know if we're going to be able to release this movie. Yeah. But then Neon, an up-and-coming independent studio, bought it. So it is going to be released in the future. And that's what I want to say is Neon Films is, I think, the next runner-up behind A24, because Neon Films started in 2017, so they're a few years behind. But they're making movies like Parasite, which swept the Oscars. They made Andy Samberg's Palm Springs, Nicolas Cage's Pig, and most recently Anora. They made. So they're making their way into the independent scene, and I think they're going to be a good challenge for A24 to up their game even more, because I think Neon's coming up and doing the same method that A24 was doing. So Neon and A24 are going to go against each other for the next couple of years, which I'm excited for. It's good for original artists. But yeah, Anthony Bourdain biopic. I only brought that up because I know Chris is a big fan of Anthony Bourdain, and it was good news that Jake likes Matt Johnson. So I think that was a good news story for us.
Me and Chris, wow. Perfect combo.
It's that thing.
That is so fetch.
You love them, and they know it.
How the hell you gonna get fired on your day off? Yeah, I was high when I said that. Tell him. What we're talking about is money. Real money. Amigo money. No dough, no show.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
How? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, ain't
that guy in Little Go.
Take it off, dickhead. I'm serious.